for the boys.
Woo! Oh, I fucked.
So what is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video, or should I say tonight's video, which actually takes place the other day. But anyway, so essentially what this video is, I don't know how I managed to film the entire video without making a intro of any sort to it. So that's what's up with this random middle of the night shot. It's about 10 o'clock at night and I'm just starting to edit this video. So I just came outside really quick to film this intro. So essentially what this is like I said, during the trip to Eibach, I had a massive fuel leak. My car stopped wanting to start after I stalled out in an intersection, and the slave cylinder where it bolts up to the transmission had stripped out. So essentially this video is me going through and fixing those issues. So yeah, now that you know where we are, it's going to start off, and I'm going to be getting the intake manifold ready to come off and whatnot, after discovering that it's a pain in the butt to change out the starters on these. So now that you're caught up, cut to it. Alright, so to start this thing off, I'm going to take off these two 12mm bolts and unplug the injector clips right here. So basically, then I can just move the fuel rail out of the way. And then there's a vacuum line down here on the left, and there's a couple electrical connections and the throttle cable here on the throttle body. And then I should be good to basically just unbolt the manifold from there and pull it straight off. So I'm gonna just kind of try that and see how far that gets me. Just to make it a little bit easier on myself, I just kind of zip tied the fuel rail out of the way so I don't have to disconnect the lines, and I zip tied the throttle body and the cable and stuff out of the way as well so I don't have to just disconnect as much. And now the intake manifold, I'm ready to just pull these, like, what is it, 7 bolts out, six or 7 bolts out, and then I can just pull it right off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so I've run into a bit of an issue when I try to pull the intake manifold off. There's a corner here that gets notched against the water pump housing, because I don't know if it's that way normally or if it's because I'm using the EP3 out of there or whatever, but pretty sure it's that way normally. So what I'm going to do, instead of taking the whole water pump and all that crap off, I'm going to just use these 2 nuts right here, and I'm going to thread them on, and I'm going to just back this stud out, and I'm going to just replace the stud with a bolt instead. So that way, when I run into this issue again, because I have the worst luck with starters, I can just easily take it off. So yeah, we'll just thread these on here, tighten them down together, and then we can back the stud out. Just like that. Alright, so tighten those together, and then back it out. Alright, so I was mistaken. You got to take both studs out. So working this second one out right now. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so now that the intake manifold is off, this is what you're going to be looking at. So this big old thing right here obviously is the starter. There's my replacement one. Now the main issue with doing these in the first place is because this bolt up here. They give you a decent-ish, I guess, if you want to be generous to say that, room to get a wrench in here to get this done, but with the intake manifold coming in the way, you literally just have this one little area to work right here, unless you can somehow squeeze your hands in here. And if you have like a stock radiator setup, say on a DC5, you're going to have a bunch more stuff in the way than I do even. So yeah, so now you just got these two bolts, and then it literally just pops right off. It's super easy to swap out. It's just hard as crap to get to, especially on these stupid things. So before I do this though, I'm going to go to Ace Hardware, and I'm going to replace those studs with some actual bolts like these. So alright, so I just went and got some bolts at Ace. I got two, what is it, M8 by 125. I got two 30s and two 35s. The 30s are for the intake manifold, the 35s are for the slave cylinder. So I just got Allen head ones because make it a little bit easier to get to, because the tight space on that. And then the two for the intake are stainless. The two down there are just zinced, so, or anodized, or I don't know. They're zinc, I think. But yeah, so I'm gonna just do the slave right now, and hopefully should be good, because these bolts were decently tight, so I think I got enough thread down here. But if not, then I'm gonna end up thread certing the holes, and then we'll be good to go. But I also gotta grease the tip here on the slave because it's squeaking at idle, so I'm gonna do that really quick. So since I already have the bolts out and it's easier to get to right now anyway, I'm gonna be doing the slave. So here's the two bolts. I just did these Allen head ones, like I said. So yeah, simple as this. I'm gonna go get some grease quick and put it on the tip of that, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so here we go. I got some of this Pennzoil. It's like high temp grease or whatever. So just get a little bit on your finger, and then go ahead and just put it right on the tip here of the slave cylinder. Alright, we can just put it back in the cup, and we should be good to go. So let me just take this glove off and get the bolt started. Cleaned up the threads a bit, and now they're threading in just fine. So go ahead and snug these down. So now that I got the slave cylinder all good to go, it's not loose anymore. Well, this fitting is going to have some slop in it. That's just how it was designed. But anyway, 17 millimeter on that bottom bolt, and this super long top one is going to be a 14 millimeter. I'm going to just use a wrench on that one up there, but a ratcheting wrench and a socket on the bottom one. Also, don't forget to disconnect the starter switch and the power wire to it. I did before I took the intake manifold off. I reached under there and did it, but yeah, don't forget to take those off. Just like that. Good as gold. Alright, so installation of the new one is exactly the reverse of the old one. It's really simple. Just slide it in, put the bolts in, tighten it down, you're good to go, and then hook up your cables back to it. So With the new starter put back on, the cable's plugged up, my slave put back on with new bolts, I'm gonna put the intake manifold back on, get everything tightened up, and see if it fires up. I bench tested the starter, it engaged, so if it doesn't activate when I go to hit my button, then it's a wiring issue at that point, and we may have maybe blown a fuse, or maybe one of our wires is just, something's wrong with it. So let's hope for just the starter being bad, because I bench tested the old one and it hardly moved at all. It clicked, but it looked like the arm on it, or the gear on it, was kind of like cocked a little bit, like it was jammed. So yeah, let's just hope for the best. So I got everything put back together now, minus the intake tube of course, but kind of a pain in the butt. I noticed that this injector over here doesn't really want to, it doesn't look like it's 100% seated, so I guess I'll find out once I prime it here in a sec. But yeah, let's cross fingers and hope this thing fires up. Alright, for some reason, even with the new starter, the car isn't wanting to attempt to turn over, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to try and check all the fuses, check the relays, and go from there. And hopefully I don't really have to change out any wires. Hopefully it's just a blown fuse or something, but it's getting hot out, so I want to get this done. Alright, so after doing some testing, I used the multimeter, and I was testing power to and from and whatnot, so found out that there's a dead spot in between my fuse box to the starter, and I forgot that I had this distribution block to run my battery from the hatch, and this bottom fuse over here is blown. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but that yellow fuse right there is split in half. So gotta go pick up another one, but at least that made it simple. Now that I know that it is the fuse, I'm going to run over to a stereo shop quick and try and get me a fuse. So hopefully there's one near me. If not, then I got to go way out and go get one from Fry's Electronics. Well, you can really see my sunburn from where I was wearing my glasses yesterday at Eibach. That's hilarious. Alright, yeah, let's go find a fuse. So thankfully I was able to go to a car stereo store. I checked O'Reilly's, they did not have one. So I think it was like Slang and Sound and Tint or something like that out here by me. So they had one, thankfully. I'm going to have to order a pack of them on Amazon or something, because this is a 100 amp one. This is what was in here before. So maybe I should probably put maybe 120 or something, because I guess these K-series take more amperage and stuff to draw, or they draw more amperage and stuff, because I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I'm not smart with this stuff, but I just know that they take more power to run and operate. So this is another 100 amp fuse. So he only gave me one. He didn't charge me for it, but I'm going to order a pack on Amazon just in case. But this should be the issue, so I'm going to screw this in really quick, fire it up. Alright, here we go. Wow, that works a lot better. So I'm glad that's fixed. The new starter actually does crank a bit easier, so that's good. I still need thicker ground cables though. But yeah, I think that should be pretty much all the issues now. I'm gonna go double check that fuel leak though, because like that injector or whatever, make sure it isn't leaking. Alright, well, there we go. It's fixed, fired right up, and still sounded good, so I'm really stoked on that, because that means I don't have to sit there and keep diagnosing and throwing parts at it. So I should have diagnosed it in the first place. So huge thank you again to Vasile and to Slimeball for helping me out sourcing out a starter, even though it turns out I guess I didn't even really need it, but thank you so much anyway. But yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this video a little bit shorter. I don't know how long it is now, but I'm gonna end this off here. So hopefully maybe you found it a little bit useful if you're trying to swap out your starter or something, or maybe if you want to kind of get some confidence in trying to figure it out why your car may not be starting or something. I don't know. But leave it down in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to stick around for the next video, because I should be putting on a new exhaust system. A guy hit me up, a company hit me up, and I'm gonna have to get the name when I get the exhaust back from Brian. It's in the truck. But it's a full stainless 3-inch V-band. Like, it's a really nice looking exhaust. So it's made for a DA. I'm going to have to modify it a little bit because it's meant to be used with a Skunk 2 header. I have the K-tuned header, so I have to have a different flange welded on. I may have to shorten it up a little bit. But yeah, be looking out for that for hopefully one of the next videos coming up. So yeah, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do a lot of car stuff, I do a lot of skateboarding, I do a lot of just my lifestyle. It is just vlogs around what I do. So stick around. And remember, do what you love, forget about the rest, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.